Second. Hey, beside the PJ. I can't do that too long. Well, good morning. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your host. A Wind is Timeless. I am the holder of the infinite ball game that was created by the Hero Twins. I am also your galactic patio, sitting on my galactic patio from Minnesota to the universe. And as always, our very special sponsor is Drakkar, for the man who has nothing. And tonight we are going back to Germany with the Doppelbach Dunkel by St. Andax clusters. So pop them if you got them, smoke them if you want them. And the special smoke is Hamilton Devices. So just wanted to show, let me see if I can catch this. See if it's still going. So, very unhealthy air quality. And this is how they gauge it. Sorry, right here. Very unhealthy air quality up here. So I got the air going, even though it's not that cool, but with the fans on and blowing in, you still smelling that shit. So it's kind of what we're up against up here. And those of you saw the video I put out about the sun. But like PJ Allen there, we was thinking alike because soon as we saw the young man, as soon as I saw the young man, well, actually, they showed maybe before the commercial, they showed the long picture of the young man, Crawford, right? Maybe that's wrong, but when I saw that, I was like, oh. And then we got Adam Silverman, whatever the commissioner's name is, Silverman. They got him talking about it. And do you see how they made that much of it? Now, I'm not going to say it wasn't others who weren't in the lottery and they gave recognition, because that would be a lie. A year or two ago, if y'all remember the young man from maybe Vanderbilt, had the heart ailment, because dudes get about 6'7", 6'8". Sometimes they have 6'8", 6'9". They born with them heart ailments. That's how they try to say Hand Gathers died. The Phyllis woman that was the volleyball player, she died the same way, Malford syndrome or something like that. But I forgot what I was. I forgot what. But my point was, so they have in the past gave credence to a person that wasn't going to get drafted, is my point. They have done that in the past. So I'm not going to say like tonight they haven't, but we know how them peoples like their blood. And as I was saying, breaking down in this book I got, the way they would parade the people around, almost like a type of god, until they sacrificed them. And what we saw was a full-blown sacrifice of him, but they just did it in reverse. Instead of parading them around and making them beautiful before they sacrificed them, what we saw with the basketball player is he was sacrificed and then they paraded him around. And then, as Super Sly always says, they showed a mama. Where was the daddy? No daddy. I mean, she had a young boy. Where his daddy? She didn't want his daddy there. I mean, could be that all three, but she had a grown-ass daughter and she had a boy about 6, 7. So more than likely they got all different daddies. Or the older two might have the same one, but that little one, I would doubt. Now, could be wrong, but it's doubtful. Or the boy that passed to him had the same. Where was that dad? Not there. Highlighting the mom and the sister. And did y'all check the sister's move out? Because the sister saw where she kept going to her right, she was going to be out of the camera shot. So she crossed back over and got back in the camera shot. I was like, so you've walked up this thing before and practiced. So I caught that. But this is how they operate. This is how they operate. Now, I'm trying to think of football players in the past. Of course, Ernie Davis was the first blood sacrifice for the Heismans, for at least melanated people. Remember, Ernie Davis lived less than a year after winning the Heisman. I bet if we did we got into Gematria and looked at his birthday from when he died, I bet that would all match up. I bet it would probably be at some type of 59 or 42 ritual on that. There's no doubt that Ernie Davis was blood sacrificed. No doubt. Especially he was about to go play with Jim Brown. And they traded Bobby Mitchell to Washington because Ernie Davis said he wasn't going to play for the racist Marshall. Washington was the last team to have brothers on it. And Ernie Davis was like, I'm not playing for him. So they hurried up and made a trade. So, but thank PJ Allen tonight for, making me aware of that. Because as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, my goodness, this is what they're doing. Oh, and I do want to look at the draft, too. I do want to look at the draft. NBA draft tonight. Let me see. Yeah, Jalen Suggs got picked fifth, but he was still a lottery pick. But he went to the Magic. But Magic got, I think, that center from USC too. Hey, Sebastian, Sean, what's happening? Anise, what's happening? As always, Dread, what's going on? Dr. Sinister, CWE, what's happening? Everything ain't it? It ain't everything, but it's just the way they do these murders. It ain't everything, but it's the way these people operate. Them peoples they operate like that. They call it blood. What do they call it? Libel. This is a thing they've been fighting for years. Yeah. So I've got this book, The Myth of Ritual Murders. I got that book. These other books is called All Blood Libels. They all through history. Them peoples and ritual murders. Keep going. My Irrelevant Defense. Meditation inside Ghoul and out on Jewish ritual murder. The Damascus Affair. Blood libel, ritual murder, accusations at limit of Jewish. Blood libel is what they call it. This is what they've been accused to. Blood libel in late imperial Russia. The ritual murder, the ritual murder trial. The ritual murder trial. Here we go. The ritual murder trial of Mendel Bellis. So it ain't just, me just making this shit up out of air. I mean, this has always been going on. And as I've said before, and this is where, Zach's people, he sends the trolls after him. He talked about he being trolled, but I don't agree with him on everything. It's like, I don't agree with Sly on everything, but you don't hear me talking bad about him. I don't agree with Nick and Truth Teller on everything, but you don't hear me getting personal about him. I don't agree with everything Zach say, but I don't never talk shit about him. I don't never say he ain't shit or this and that. But what I'm saying is that there are other ways. And you have to understand how this system operates. This system has never gone away. This has never gone away. And this is truly what we see operate. We even have to rethink when they came into America and we say disease. That's what the lie they try to tell you is that all the killings when they came into the Americas was disease. Wasn't. We know that's a lie. But again, when you kill a lot of people, you have to have excuses of why they were killed. And so if you see this example, it has to be a little bit of could be. So, but what's happening though? Ryan, what's happening? Have you seen Bradley Johnson Vlad TV interview? Nah, I don't even know who Bradley Johnson is. I don't know who he is. Oh, he exposes the lead. Okay. CWC, I stay away from Zach. Hi there. Welcome to my comment. Okay. All right. Have you? No, I haven't seen him. I don't know who he is. But so the point is this is how they operate. Like people, especially sports people, don't die. Entertainers just don't die. They die on the given dates. That's what they do. This is how this machine that they've put in has to work. They have to die when the blood is due. I mean, my biggest story would be probably the one that people knew was dead was Al Jarreau. I mean, it was like Al Jarreau had died. It seemed like 2 years, and then right before the Grammys, they say he died. But it was like this dude was definitely sick 2 years before that. So you have to know that they keep these people life support or whatever until it's time for the ones to go and they can do it like that. I mean, how long? I mean, one thing you have to give Zach props about is like he'll point out the deaths of the celebrities, 2-day birthdays and all that to show the full ritual. To show the full ritual. This is, I don't know, guys. This is just, it seems you follow that part. That part is what's my favorite team? I always liked the Lakers since the Wilt days. Really never had a. I like LeBron. It was funny how Craig Faxon was saying all the LeBrondians, how was going to lose sanity, or the love bros for LeBron. I never really. I see the hidden hand. I'm the only one that reports on him the most, showing the hidden hand. He definitely does that. So he's definitely paid by them peoples. He's part of that. So I never give that a pass. But that's always been my favorite team. It's like when Shaq left, I was more a Lakers fan than a Shaq fan. So I still, even when they had the sorry teams with Kobe, I'll still never. But since Wilt days, since what, and of course, with Magic, I Magic's only 2 years ahead of me. So, when I talk about how they pump athletes up, I watched how it was pumped up. It was like they pushed Magic. Jay Vincent was great too. And Jay Vincent ended up going to Michigan State. He kind of got hurt in the beginning of their championship year. But I just looked how they pushed Magic, and yet you had Jay, a great player. And then they play each other in the district to get rid of one another. Jay was probably the third or fourth best. Jay might have been 2, 3 best behind Magic, but they put them together in the same district to get run. Well, they knew they was going to get rid of Jay. So I was, always a Laker fan. Lakers, my favorite team. Tillman was Army tying up loose ends. Okay, Johnny. Zach be capping. He do be capping. He be getting mad because everybody don't agree with him. And that's that. I ain't here to be agreed with or not agreed with. If a person doesn't resonate with me and I don't get offended, that brother gets offended by shit. I don't get offended. There's 29 watching. Like, oh, okay, thank you, Anise. Zachary effect. How do you feel about the Westbrook trade? They say they gave up a number one, but again, their number one would have been their number one. What would have their number one been? Because they say they gave up the 2 players and a number one. Now, anybody, is that all they gave up? Because I know Livers had not gotten drafted yet. Now, when I stopped, because they had got into the second round. So, but they say and who did the number one end up being? Houston. Let's see. Because the lottery stops at 15. The 15th pick ain't in the lottery. Who did the draft trade end up being? I don't see Clippers. Houston, Clippers. I don't see. They didn't have a pick? Huh. Lakers had a pick in here somewhere. Anybody? They gave up Trez and with the 22nd pick. And who did that end up being? Okay, here we go. Pacers via Wizard via Lakers. So they gave up Isaiah Jackson. Okay. So they gave up Isaiah. That's too much. That is way. Why would you? I don't know. Seemed like that would have been a one-on-one trade to me. That's funny, CJ Jordan. How do you feel about Detroit's draft pick? I mean, the top guy was Cade. I mean, Cade is a strong number 2. He's a 2. So I see no problem with him being 2. Who was the other one? Because they got two picks, didn't they? Oh, they ain't got the second round in here? Wonder why not? Second round went on? Who was Detroit's number 2? This ain't got the whole thing. Let's see. Just only go to. No, this one don't show number 2 either. Oh, here, maybe. Okay, the Pistons got who else? JT Thor, another guard, wasn't he? Wasn't JT Thor a guard too? Did Livers get picked? Okay, Livers went to the Pistons. Okay, so they got Thor and they got Livers. Okay, that's the guy who Livers, and Livers is the 42nd pick. So Livers is going to the Pistons too. I'm telling you, Livers is going to be. He's 6'8". That cat 6'8" that can play. He can guard twos, but he can play 3 and 4. I mean, he's not going to be able to match up against the bigger, stronger fours. But most fours he'll be, especially as his body gets bigger. But he's a strong 3. So yeah, the Pistons did pretty good. Because the first round pick, what is he? 6'5", 6'6", isn't he? 6'5", 6'6". This thing's showing everybody for some reason. Oh, here we go. Okay, so Todd is the power forward too. So they shored up. So he's a power forward. Livers is probably in that too. So they got two. So they got a swing guard and a power forward. Oh, okay. This got all the picks. All right. Okay, so it's been a lot of trading. I'm trying to read who gets who where. Okay. All right. So they didn't do too bad. What's everybody thinking? What I've been missing? Gabe. Zach using platform to spread truth, and you want to call him a female. I ain't call him a female. Somebody else did. I called him. I said that nigga got giddy. I definitely said that. I ain't calling him no bitch though. Now somebody in here might have called him a bitch, but I ain't calling him no bitch. So don't get so emotional. One of P. Diddy's ghostwriters, Bristol, died of cancer. Some way Black Rob, same way the Black Rob died. Minneapolis Lakers. Yeah, who did they get? Who did the Wolves get? Wolves had to be into the. Oh, they didn't have a pick, did they? No, they didn't have a pick. They must have traded that pick away. Oh, Livers went to. Okay, Detroit. Okay, this is how it is. All right. Timberwolves have a second round pick. Damn, they didn't have a second round pick this year either. Oh, that's right. They gave them picks up to Golden State, didn't they? Doesn't look like. Damn. I don't see the Timberwolves in the first 3 rounds. I think they traded all them picks on the Wiggins thing, or the Russell, getting Russell there. Yeah, Minneapolis used to be. That's why they named the Lakers. No, I'm not from LA. I'm from Michigan. I grew up in Michigan, but I played college football in North Carolina. So I lived down there for 7 years. But I've been here for 14. Yeah, CJ say act like Zach get real. I can see really, it's mistakes. It's not ignorance, so you just disagree. Like if I turn my shit back on and had my call show, motherfuckers don't disagree with me. That's okay. I ain't gonna call them stupid and idiots because they disagree. That motherfucker be on an emotional thing. I don't get emotional. This shit don't get me emotional. Motherfuckers disagreeing with me. I ain't getting emotional. Shit, you listen how you want to and take it how you want to. It ain't for me to. My thing is like this. It ain't for me to convince any motherfucker in the world. I don't have to convince anybody for shit. I ain't trying to persuade. I put it out there. And the rest is on you, how you perceive it. Because everything ain't all good. Everything ain't all bad. So you have to use, your intuitiveness to see, your discernment to see. They gave up KCP and Caldwell Pope, and NBA wants Lakers and Nets badly. I wouldn't disagree with that. Or LA again, like in the 70s. Yeah, it was twice in the 70s. And don't forget, when Wilt and them won in 72, they beat the Knicks. The Knicks had beat them in 71, and they turned around. No, Kareem and them. So in 70, the 70 was the Knicks winning. Then Kareem won the next year, 71, and then it was the Knicks against Kareem, and then got beat, and the Knicks lost to Wilt. I do believe when Wilt won their only title in LA at that point. Drafted. Yeah, I saw OKC drafted the Australian guy. They say he's 6'10". He is the first NBA Academy graduate to be drafted. Okay, he went to the okay. I saw that Cade plays point guard, but he's like LeBron. Okay. Cavs got Evan Mobley. He's gonna be nice. Yeah, Mobley had a pretty good game. I've been having these thoughts that I might turn into something abominable, like a zombie or hologram, if causing a lot of fear, right? Distressing me. Why? Why? Why do you think that? You don't have to turn into that. Can you? How can you call it fake? Because if you don't keep up with it, you can't see the fake. If you don't keep up with it, you can't see the fake. And I point out the fake. I point out the fake in all of them. As I said before, there's riddles in the talking heads. I don't have to watch them all because I mostly watch Money all day. But there's riddles in the talking head because they give so many tells. So in the talking heads, you watch them, you say, okay, this is going to be something that's going to show up. And that's how they give it. Yeah, it was nothing but a guard draft. It was a big draft for guards. I agree. Everything has gotten boring. NBA, NFL, WWE. Okay, well, I'm sorry. Timbers. Yeah, I think I saw that. I realized that was in bringing Russell in. I think when that Russell deal is they gave up a number one. So yeah. So I don't know. I hope you find something that is interests you, Tiger Strong. I don't think you're going to turn into a zombie unless you want to. It's done by design. Yeah, I mean, attacks are. And he calls everyone an agent if they disagree. Bad Jack, like, yeah, it's like my main thing of looking at agents is really looking at the people in the 70s. Now, shit, uh, what did somebody say today? What did he say? What did he say? I think it was Gucci Man was saying, he had learned when he went into prison how many people he was like, it was like everybody was agents. And so that's what that kind of blew his mind. It was like, as I got to learn the legal system, everybody was looked at because everybody was telling that. And that's what I was saying. I made a rap about it. Who'd I tell on? Remember that a week or so ago? That seems to be the way people are. People don't chuck up their chin and take it. People want to tell. People get pinched and they want to tell. As my dad once said, motherfucker get in there and tell on their mama and shit. So feels like everything is fear-based with the media. Oh, and they're pushing it strong. Did you see what he said today? Talking about they trying to see if it's legal to make you come on down. It's your turn for the drip. That's what they was discussing today, to see if it was legal. You guys don't want to do it, not as much as we hope for, so we're going to force you to do it. And talking about counties can already do it. Going on laws from 1918. The local health people. Knicks played Lakers in 70, 72, and 73. Yeah. Because they won again. I thought they won in 75. So they won again in, where'd it go? Right there. Yeah, because Knicks won in 70. Lakers won in 72. Knicks won in 73. I thought they won in 75. No, that might have been the Bullets. So, yeah, the Knicks had to win in 73 when Earl Monroe came over. That was the only time Earl won it. NBA exists, the show never ends. There you go. What makes these brothers, NBA won't exist in 4 years? I hope not. I hope not. What these brothers in the military are going to do with those mandatory, their countdown is coming in September. Their countdown is coming in September. They say they're making everybody do it by September. LA creating a super team has Russell Westbrook, a lovable loser, said you won't ever win a ring. I still say that. That they, again, the only position where Russell or Harding could win is they take the Oscar Robertson position. Because Jerry West, I think, lost 8 or 9. Elgin Baylor, I think, lost the most. Elgin Baylor lost 8 or 9. And Elgin Baylor quit on the team. He quit on that 72 team. He quit on that team. So Elgin Baylor, I think, is lost eight titles. And Jerry West is somewhere in there too. Say Tiger Strong, say you don't think LeBron won? Yeah, Knicks won in 73. Yeah. But shouldn't he now if he's president? King, what's happening? Checking in at the Galactic Patio. Hey, Jody Husky, thank you for joining. Russell Westbrook has a low basketball IQ. I don't know. I don't really see. I'll say this is what he'll do. He does pick up the pace. If everybody can stay with him, he can push it at people. That's one thing he hasn't lost, but he still can't shoot. I mean, everybody talks about how bad Simmons. Westbrook can't shoot either. I mean, they use basket manipulation when Westbrook score, but Westbrook can't shoot. He's just like Simmons. He ain't really got a jump shot. So, but he can really push it up. He's a bigger guard, so that helps on defense. But I'd prefer Poe compared to Westbrook because Poe can shoot. Westbrook can't shoot. Wouldn't be surprised if Silver make sure LeBron lose 2 just to please the Republicans that hate him, give him the interest in watching him again. The scapegoat. I don't trust Westbrook. I don't either. King Kane. LeBron BML movement ruined the ratings forever. Well, they didn't win. Let me see, because I did look at the ratings for when they won the finals. It wasn't hard. What it said is they beat last year. And that's nothing. Last year was nothing. With so much to watch, watching that stuff, if you wasn't really a real basketball fan, the good thing about the bubble, it made people see how much a show it is, like a play. That's what became evident watching the bubble last year. It became that it's fake. It was easy to see it was fake. And that's the mistake they made. See, that helped wrestling. Baseball, really, you can't really see the fake, but football and basketball was kind of exposed for the fake without the fans, especially basketball. Putting them in there, it couldn't have looked any faker there. And they decided to do that to themselves. They were so desperate to make sure they played to get that TV, at least some TV money, since the owners was hurting for ticket money and the players. So saying this year won the ratings over last year didn't say nothing. That didn't say nothing at all because last year sucked so much. What you call him? Cro-Magnon man. Yeah, definitely. Russell Westbrook looks like a Cro-Magnon man. He really does. Neanderthals, man, whichever you want to call him, he looks like one of them. He's got that look. I mean, just because he's melanated, that don't take away that look. Like when we talk about phenotypes, he is that phenotype. Look at the Cro-Magnon man. Look at all that head. You can see them type of peoples. He's got that look. His phenotype is very strange. Very strange. Neanderthal, Cro-Magnon man-ish looking. They know Mickey Mouse season was exposed for what? Good point, Marco. Compare 21 ratings to 19 ratings. It's not close. In reality, 21 is the second worst finals ratings, just in front of the bubble. Yeah. I caught that too. Yeah. because that's the article said how well it did, but the rest of the article went in to say, well, comparatively, yeah. And they knew they were going to take a wash having them teams in there. But see, this is how we mess with them. This is how we mess with them. We make these predictions and we say what makes the most sense. And see, then people kind of get bothered by that because they don't like to be predicted. And so when we go to them into putting them two bad teams in there, if they already looked at how much, as I said weeks ago before the final, they already looked at how much they would lose by putting them teams in there. And there was just like they knew they was going to lose in the bubble, there was a certain amount of, okay, this is enough. And all the owners looked at each other and say, okay, this is enough. So that's how we mess with them, because they did not want those two teams there, but they were kind of backed into the corner because, again, everybody's saying out there, and when you say what, you saying, well, the money teams makes the most sense financially. They don't like that. And so they have to twist and turn. And before you know it, them two sorry ass teams, and they got taken because they think they're so smart, because they're trying to outsmart us. So y'all lost. NBA, you lost. Yeah, I know it was acceptable lost. But you still lost, NBA. You put a sucky product, but you've been a sucky product. You got them Giannis out there fouling people on purpose. I wouldn't be surprised if Silver made sure LeBron lose just one to please. I think I read that earlier. This would just revive his career. I would say this. He'll stretch the floor out because the way he can push it. And then if the shooters get into positions, but on the other hand, he's not a good person to have with LeBron out there, because LeBron plays the point forward position. Now, what Westbrook will be good at working with LeBron is back picking, or cutting, doing back like breaking from the ball on screens and stuff. On a movement type of offense, he can be helped because he can make cuts to the basket. You have to, as you put cutters through the basket and everybody's lining up for threes, he's always a threat for there, because again, he has a short range game, not really a mid range, more of a short range game, which should get him a lot of layups, because again, he moves a lot, and that's what you have to give him credit for. Not a great shooter, but far as an off the ball person, he can move and cut, set picks and move. He'll get a lot of layups like that because he can play off the ball enough to get by his man for an open pass, which LeBron is good at. So that way I can see them utilizing him. So he can't shoot though. This season was some shit. Yeah, the season wasn't very exciting either. Bucks versus Nets made more ratings than the finals, and they counted on that too. They knew that. They counted on it. Trigger strong. They've been pushing Nuggets since 2019. Just the Milwaukee Bucks 17. Everybody forgot this season. Yeah, they have been pushing the Nuggets. Well, just like it's going to be 1 year. They're going to let one of them. They're going to let the Nuggets and they're going to let Dallas go through. They're going to have a chance too. We see how they do it. They're going to have a chance. They're going to put them in the finals. But remember, they only put Dirk in the finals once. But Ginobili a whole bunch of times, and Ginobili wasn't good as Dirk. Tim Duncan's is from the islands. That's American, so I don't count the islands. But Tony Parker, Ginobili, the dude from France. What was the bigger guy from France named too? I can't think. Bio. What was his name? The big forward. He got traded around. He was a journeyman. So, I mean, that was their thing. And they only gave Dirk one. Dirk lost one and won one. Suns was an experiment for TV ratings, so they rigged it to get those teams there. I think they was trying to be smart, and they wanted to show the experts wrong. That's how they do it. They wanted to show the experts was wrong. Second round, game 7, Westbrook pulls up for a 3, won't go. Definitely won't. Dirk was in the finals twice. Yep. He won one and lost one. Hey, Lobo, thanks for joining. Hawks, Nuggets, Mavericks gonna get their chance. Hawks, Nuggets, Mavericks. Hawks, okay, versus will get their chance. Yeah, we'll see. More money would people want to see. That's why I'm pretty sure Atlanta made the second round is to because people would rather be in Atlanta than Philadelphia. So that is why, and that's they trying to test that market too. But people like that going to Atlanta. They would prefer. Now we're gonna hear about Giannis being great because he dominated Cameron Payne. Yeah, Boris Diaw. That's thank you, Boo. That's the name I was looking for. Diaw. Yeah, I was looking for the name. You think the Grizzlies got a chance to go far with Jay Morant? Depending on who they put around him. I mean, that team doesn't, that franchise doesn't spend a lot of money. We'll see. They put a lot around him. Did y'all check out the Jets quarterback signed today? Check this out. The Jets quarterback signed today. The rookie, somebody put his name in there, but the rookie that's going to the Jets signed his contract. Now, you know, these number one picks, they get big cash up front. What's the dude in the quarterback? Well, just to say it, the number one pick, or I'll just say this quarterback. This quarterback negotiated for $22 million as a bonus. They didn't want to give it to him. They did not want to give him his bonus money until the turn of the year. And that's why he stayed two days out of camp, because they wanted to give him his bonus money in 22. He said, so what he negotiated was once he signs, they have 15 days to give him 22. That's a hell of a powerful position. He was like, I'm not coming into camp. It was another, whoever got drafted first, the highest quarterback, unless it was him, it was somebody else that signed for 20-some to 30. What's his name? In Cleveland, he got about 30 million. The quarterback in Murray got about 30 million bonus. This is bonus money. So it's not like Mahone and them. Mahone was drafted later. He wasn't a number one draft pick, if I remember right. That's why he didn't get such a giant money. He got, I think he was a second pick or something, or a later first round pick. So he got a little less. But that young boy said he wasn't going to come into camp if they was trying to keep his loot. So you see how the money switches as you become number one. Zach Wilson, there you go. Yeah, Zach Wilson. I like Westbrook, but he can't shoot. He be shooting his bricks. Yeah, he can't shoot. Yeah, thank you guys. Hey, James Gant. Yep, Zach Wilson. They was trying to give him that money in January. He was like, his guy was like, nah, because you know what does the agent get? 3 to 5%. So the agent's getting some big money too. So they're like, nah. So they gave it to him. They said 15 days. 15 days to pay. You hear that Rachel Nixon talk about the tectonic plate shifting right after that 8.2 earthquake? No, I didn't hear about that, Trap. She was? Okay. Thank you, Anise. That's my team. Oh, I wonder where Bradley Beal is going. I haven't heard anything about him today. Hey, James. Yeah, what's happening? Hey, Key, what's happening? So that was interesting today to find, those little things and the smoke in my world. I'm glad that Livers is going to the Pistons, so that'll be a home thing for him. Hope he should be good. And they got two nice forwards in the draft and the top guard. They should be improved. Seemed like they had a point guard already there that was good. But yeah, it was a couple foreigners that was questionable. One was 6'10". They showed him Lehigh. The guy went to Lehigh, I think they said, but he's 6'10", and he had some international experience. So, and like I was saying before, when I met Shabazz Muhammad, I think was his name. When I met him, they came here to sign. That's what they came here for. These cats will be in town. So all the picks around the country will be in town tomorrow, and then they'll get their bonus money. The basketball players get their bonus money. So they'll be in the town signing, getting their jerseys. That's kind of how it goes. Because that's what had happened to Len Bias. Len Bias had got drafted and went up there, got his bonus money. Because at the same time, Len got $1 million for Reebok. So when you read the whole story about Len, Len signed with the Celtics and got his bonus money, and then Len went to Reebok, and then he went home. He went home with bags of Reebok stuff that he gave his family. He had a brother that also got killed in a mall parking lot. I think he went to Northeastern. His name was Bias. J Bias. J Bias got killed. But I think he went to Northeastern College. Yeah, I think it's Northeastern, not Northwestern. I think it was Northeastern. I could be. But he got killed in violence too. So J Bias got killed in a mall parking lot, I think. I don't know if people know that, but he got killed. They talking about Bill to the Celtics. Okay. Bill could go to Golden State. Yeah, they was trying to get Bill for, well, what's the trade that fell through? Oh, Simmons. They was trying to get Simmons for Wiggins. Simmons for Wiggins and one other person and a draft pick. So I didn't think Simmons was worth it. Hey, Brisk Clown, thanks for joining. Yeah, I didn't think Simmons was worth. I wouldn't. Why would you want him? Why would you want him? I mean, on defense, he helps you. He does push the ball, but to have the like this is really how they figured out the script with Milwaukee. You didn't want the ball in Ghana's hands when time was going down because, again, everybody could zone him up. So what they figured is give it to Middleton. They can create a shot because Middleton can break a person down one-on-one. Ghana's really can't. Ghana's ain't getting by you like that. Again, it's easy to help on Ghana's. It's easy for the help to come and stop him because he's such a one-dimensional, driver. So, yeah, Jay Bilas got killed over a chick. Yeah, okay, PJ. Yeah, I remember he got killed in the parking lot. Yep, but he died young too. He was in his 20s. Because Jay was about to go to Maryland too. If I remember right, he was about to go to Maryland. And then once his brother got killed, they called it off. So I think he was going to go to Maryland too. Because if I remember right, he was 6'5", 6'6". If I remember right, he wasn't a little guy. He was a pretty nice sized guy. But again, family targeted some kind of way, died tragically. Giving us a Gilbert with a mustache. And that's the problem with a lot of these big cats is the cats just don't get up down the floor. They just don't. And that's the one thing I see, with them trying to push big men out. The big men in some ways slow the game down. And so when you're looking at a team, like that's why it was hard for me to believe when they had Lopez, Giannis, and Porter out there at the same time. I'm like, Porter don't get back quick. Giannis really don't get back quick. So, I didn't refill my water up. Well, that's a bummer. I didn't bring my water jug anyway. What they say in Platoon, dude was like trying to write his girl a letter. And he's like, damn, don't you know how to spell? And he talked shit to him. And he looked at him. He was like, my girl don't read too good anyway, so it don't really matter. So she don't read too good anyway. 76 want a Hayden type package for Ben Simmons to be gone. Yeah. Harden package, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, perhaps. But it's uncomfortable there. It was like, what was the guard, the dude from Washington State, that he averaged 20 a game, and you really thought he was going to be that great? Falls, the dude that's with Orlando now. I mean, they put such a psyop on him to make him look like he was so bad, and they had to protect the public from him. That made no sense. Ain't nobody got a hitch in their J. Either you got one or you don't, but no one really has a hitch in their J. Marco, what's that? Philly is retarded when they think teams are going to give them a Godfather package for that bum. Yeah, he's not worth the money right now. He's not worth it right now. Right now, I would trade him, wait for the season to start, see his value go back up. But right now, he's damaged goods. And that's what they're gonna find out. Right, faults. Like I've never saw a person like the Barkley, like Fultz just couldn't shoot it. I mean, even poor Shaq when Shaq didn't practice. And again, it's all It's all manipulation. So if they wanted folks to shoot better, they could have helped him shoot better. Hey, James, thank you for joining. They did him dirty, right? Markel Fouts, right? Thank you, thank you. Yeah, yeah, they did him dirty. Who's ever had a hitch like you can't shoot your J? Nobody I ever knew shoot like that. So I think that was another just shaming. You know, well, what I was saying, what I've said plenty of times is they raised these dudes to tear them down. They raised these dudes to tear them down. And that's the problem with getting raised so high. It's a long fall. So if you get raised so high, you become an all-star. That fall of not an all-star play is a long way down. So when you're just the average player, the fall ain't as far. But if you raise the bar high, it's like, I will say this, Ryan Leaf, I don't think people remember how well he played at Arizona State. But Ryan Leaf wasn't put in a good situation. He wasn't put in a good situation. And he was immature. And so he caused this downfall. But I don't see how he's worse than Jamarcus Russell, who is 6'5" and was 280 in college. And when after they gave him what? They gave him something like $33 million too. And I hate people be pocket watching people, but they gave him $33 million, and he went in camp super big. What was his name? Benjamin used to play with Carolina. You see how he got a situation today? So he re-signed because one of his coaches from the Panthers is with the Giants. So they tell this cat to weigh 250. You know, he was at 268 during mini camp. They said you got to get down to 250. He comes into camp 261 saying he doesn't gain muscle mass. You had all these weeks to lose all that weight. And it's a way that you can lift and still lose weight. But and then he was surprised when they cut him. CC33, there you go. They've been humiliating Philly for some decades now. That's true. I would agree with that. Wonder what he did for them to shit on him like the way they did. Yeah. So Jamarcus Russell, you know, he's not really put up there as a person that didn't. I mean, he didn't care. He got that bread and he was like, whatever. He went to the league like, whatever. He didn't even try to work or nothing. He was just like, whatever, I got it. Got the Lions glass. You can only get these type in Detroit. At Applebee's. I was in Detroit a few years ago. I was back in Michigan, not Detroit, and got the Applebee's glasses. So Detroit Sports is never coming back. Benjamin is a wasted talent. Can't they use Magnus for Ben Simmons? Not on them layups, Rashawn. Not on them layups, Rashawn. Detroit Sports is never coming back. I don't know. The Tigers ain't playing well, and we'll see how Jared Goff is going to do in Detroit when he's in a worse team. I seen Benjamin made the Giants team. No, Benjamin got cut today. First day of camp. They cut him. They cut him the first day of camp because he went in camp at 261 and they wanted him at 251. So, well, they fined him. They fined him for coming into camp overweight. He got fined. And then he did something, and they told him he had one more chance because that was 2 strikes. And then he did something. And then he talked shit when they let him go. So, no, he got cut. Yeah, Johnny. Love the video about the sacrifice. Just ordered a copy of the website called Cyrus Limited. Okay, Brisk. Okay. Okay, Brisk Crowd. He didn't want to play any of them reindeer games, and boy, he got cut down. Yeah. He got put out. Yep, he got put out. That's cool, Brisk Clown. Limited Estradica, okay. Yeah, I mean, PJ Allen is the one that like he first told me about that. So when I saw it tonight, I was like, whoa, they doing it again. They are doing it again and having Adam Silver up there. That was perfect for them. Now that's for them is perfect. He was being the master of ceremony over the ritual. And as I was saying before, if you read what they write about the Aztecs, the way the ritual persons was celebrated before they got killed. It wasn't like even the prisoners. Sometimes even the prisoners got celebrated before they got killed. Not all the time. If you look at the murals at Bompapet, yeah, they just take them to the king and they pretty much is dogging them all the way up there. But again, they're prisoners. Wasn't like they just captured a small village. They was fighting some motherfuckers, and these was the ones that survived. It's like when there's so much killing, even on the losing side, there's some dudes don't get killed. That's in war. It's just Jews be like, shit. You just killed about 2,000 of my men. I don't know how you missed me, but you got me. And that's what happens. I mean, when the Nazis went in there and fought them Bolsheviks, fought the Jewish faith people they was fighting in Russia when they first went in Russia. What was it, 400,000? 400,000 in them first few weeks was captured. And they marched them back to Germany, and most of them died, that way. But so there's people that survive these wars, and they're called prisoners. And these prisoners would get sacrificed. Not having any judgment. That was how they did their shit. Some days you wouldn't think it'd get any worse. Why are rappers and musicians worth more dead or in our jail than to be alive? They ain't really worth nothing in jail because can't make nothing new. But they're still marketable. They're still worth in what they left. And that's why they're still worth in what they're left, what's left. A lot of times jail makes them more credit, gives them street cred. So they play that scenario, the jail scenario. Like the biggest one that I still don't understand to this day is like Biggie was laying in a bed for almost a year and they didn't record. But you got Shine in jail making recordings over the phone. So how hard would it have been? I mean, I've been studying about this little stuff to record, and how hard would it have been to give? I mean, hell, they talked about some shit just came out where Jimi Hendrix in 68 or 69 had a little recorder and he recorded Joni Mitchell live at a concert. He shot the footage, or I don't know if he shot footage, but he recorded her vocals live. He was like, we on the same record, and he had a little set up and he recorded her. Somebody stole the recordings, they just came back. So there was talent in what he was trying to do, and somebody stole it because they saw the worth of it. But there's worth. And when you're dead, and it's a lot of times, like I'm afraid, maybe I shouldn't tell that. No, I won't tell that. But I'll tell this part. See, a lot of times these people being insured too. These people being insured, it's like the record labels. Jason, somebody tell me Jason's channel. Jason ain't been on a few weeks with Zach, but he's proved, like, what was it in 20? It was 103, something like that. Rappers killed. So now, this is how dirty them peoples are. They'll sign you to a deal and make you sign life insurance, and the life insurance go to them. So you don't think they're doing that with rappers now? Rappers being one of the most dangerous jobs of young brothers can have. You don't think they're doing that? You signing both? Life insurance won't go to your family. Your family will get points and all that for your music, but that life insurance will go to the company sometimes. I mean, remember, I don't know if y'all remember this. They was making Walmart employees. Anybody remember that? Walmart employees was also signing up for life insurance for the Walmart. Walmart was offering life insurance. When their new employees came, they were signing their new employees to life insurance, and Walmart being the beneficiary. A person died, and the woman found out that Walmart had put a life insurance on their spouse. That was part of their hiring practice. That's how dirty they was doing. So that's been a thing been going on for a long time. Yeah, Gray, we was just talking about that. We was just talking about Westbrook going to the Lakers. Um, I think it, in a way, it's okay. Um, this is where he'll help. He'll still be a threat. Damn, spit some shit all out my mouth. Nasty motherfucker. Damn. But when LeBron tires, you got somebody that can push the ball. Him and AD playing pick and roll would still work because remember, he's very quick off the pick and roll. And then when you surround shooters, you run pick and roll on one side. Westbrook breaks away because he's so quick off the pick and roll. Anybody try to help, he's perfect to kick the ball. So he would function very well in that regard. Off the ball, he's very well too off the ball. Off the ball, he's a hard, he can keep moving. So he's a hard guard off the ball if he tries. So they'll work him in. So he tries on defense. He has little size. Without them faking his rebounds, he's a good guard rebounder. Because, you know, when he got them triple doubles, a lot of people other than just me show that them triple doubles was fake, fixed triple doubles. Where there's one time, I don't know if anybody else caught this, but there's one time where the other team was blocking out like their own men so Westbrook could get the rebound. I mean, it was just so ridiculous. It's like the two rebounders would block out their man, and then the other team would kind of block out somebody so Westbrook could get the rebound. It was just, it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Them getting locked up is promo for upcoming projects just as well. I see that too. Isn't Westbrook and LeBron similar players as for style? LeBron isn't as quick. I mean, Westbrook is younger, I do believe. Yeah, let's see. How old is Russell Westbrook? So he 32. LeBron 37, right? Isn't LeBron? How old is LeBron James? LeBron's 36. So he still has a quick step, somewhat quick step. I mean, he tore his Achilles, I think, too, and he had full knee surgery, but he's still got a little quickness to him. What's that's going on now with the rappers? That life insurance gets cashed in. Yeah, definitely. They've been making them do that for a minute too. Yeah. They make them sign life insurance on them policies now. Since so many, I mean, rappers it's a deadly business. It's a deadly business. Yeah. The life insurance gets cashed in. It go to them. It don't go to the people. It don't go to the family. It does not go to the family. It goes to, it is cold. Are they gonna butt heads? I don't know. I think Westbrook's already seeing he turned into a journeyman. Westbrook is a journeyman. Yeah, you never heard that, wasn't he? Anise, you never heard that? Yeah, Walmart being a beneficiary. And that was a while ago. That was that story might be 10 years ago. That was a while ago they got caught doing that. Making people sign up. When they signed up, people didn't know they were signing up for life insurance too. And the company being the beneficiary. Because, you know, a lot of times they give you them work papers, you know, you just sign and in that box be Walmart. But if it came to find out, the insurance company messed around and called the wife or something, or she found out it was a second policy. The wife found out it was a second policy on her husband. Yep. Yeah. Oh, not only would he tell them to let him get it, they wouldn't go get the ball. Teammates wouldn't even go get the ball. CWE teammates wouldn't go get the ball. They would let Westbrook get the ball. All right. Sure enough, would let Westbrook get the ball. There we go. So LeBron moves the small forward then. I would say when he gets tired, though. Because, again, Westbrook is cool to have in there because he moves. He moves off the ball pretty well. He's quick off the ball, too. And so, like I was mentioning, back doors, he'll be perfect for that. You know, what you do is you have a pick and roll on the other side again, and then as the roll, you have the roll man as an option, and then you could have Westbrook backdooring somebody as an option because he's good without the ball rapidly moving. So, hey, 6'5" Miracle, 6'5" Miracle. What's happening? Yeah, I look like the purple pimp tonight. But I can't resist the jersey that's 19. When I see 19, I can't resist. I'm gonna get to one of the sold ones too. It's a dude that's in St. Paul that you can get the sold ones. But I was shopping and they had this one in my size. I was like, this is a good option to get this mug. I like jerseys that say 19. Plus, this cat lives down here. This cat lives around here. Thielen lives here at Pirate Lake. My beer store. I met him in there one time. Cool, nice dude. Cool, nice dude. But yeah, I can't. When I see 19s, I try to buy 19s. But thank you, James. Big O better than Westbrook? Yeah, yeah. He was more. He could shoot. Big O could shoot. Big O had a mid range game, no doubt. But where they're alike again, Big O and Wayne Embry killing. You look up that Wayne Embry and the Big O killing it. Fires the pick and roll. I mean, a lot of people want to say Stockton and Malone, but Embry and Big O was a force where nobody really could stop it. And what was interesting is, see, Kareem really wasn't a pick and roll dude. So Kareem really didn't need that. But Big O has so many other things he could do. But they put them in pick and roll a lot with Kareem too. Kareem needed more just one-on-one. I mean, Kareem had played with Mike Warren, and Mike Warren was a good pick and roll dude too. But in Wooden's offense, they wasn't really running a lot of pick and rolls like that for Kareem. It was like run and get the ball to Kareem, especially against zones. Giving Kareem the ball in the elbow, the low post and stuff. So, but Oscar Robertson, I mean, you have to be up against this cat. He's a big dude that's 6'5". He ain't no little dude that's 6'5". If you stood against him now, you'd be surprised how big. He old. That Oscar got to be in his 80s, 84, 85. He's in there somewhere. He's older than my mother, I'm sure. Yeah, he's got to be older than my mother, because I want to say Oscar got out of high school. No, Oscar got out of Cincinnati in, I want to say, 60 season. They lost the Final Four when Oscar was there, and I think they won. I think Cincinnati with Jerry Lucas. No, Jerry Lucas went to Ohio State. I'm trying to think. Cincinnati won it in 60 or 61. I have to look it up. But they had good teams when he was at Cincinnati. He just didn't win it when Keyshawn Johnson wore 19 for the Jets and the Buccaneers, I want to say, too. Didn't he wear 19 for the Buccaneers, too? I think he wore 19 before Gruden fired him when he still got his money, which, Gruden, because he talked shit to Gruden, and Gruden cut him or put him up, but he still got his money. So he ain't mad at Gruden today. Like when players like break their hands and stuff, that's like a break. Like when they break their hands, they be like, I got to play and got a wrist, especially you got a cast on your hand. That's really when your body will heal. Those kind of injuries. Now, if you play receiver, it's a bitch having them hand injuries. But now that's the cool thing. That's what I was telling my best friend about. One thing cool about wearing gloves now is the gloves stop this kind of stuff. Them busted fingers. Wearing the gloves keep your finger more in there. As I said before, I used to individually tape. I used to play like with these. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, like this. I would tape these two. No. Trying to think. I broke. What was it? This? I'd have to look at the book. Like this, maybe. Now, I want to say these two was always taped up, and maybe it was these two. And then my friend came up with ways to individual. He made like these little casts, and I would tape the individuals and just slip them on there, like kind of a glove, and just slip the individuals on there. And then what I did is when I got gloves, I got a glove a size bigger and would put it over that. The gloves keep them fingers from getting busted. That's one of the best things. I know the tacky stuff. Oh, yeah, Lobo said, yeah, he did wear 19 for Tampa, yeah. Westbrook trade was scripted, a simple truth channel. He decoded some kind of 666. Oh, man, y'all talking about some 666 shit. Look at this shit. I caught this. Where's that? No, it might be on this one. I don't carry that one with me. It's probably on this one. Look at this shit here. Right here. Here we go. Okay. All right. All right. Look at the lottery. Look at all that. See them 666s there? This is how they put that shit out there. I looked at this shit, I was like, damn. And like when you look at these boards, let me give a little game. Like, I don't know, every state, this is different from every state. Every state don't have these kind of lotteries. But a lot of times you can look at the date and then you can add these numbers up and you can get some clues sometime. And the best thing I can say about the lottery is play the same numbers all the time. Don't keep playing new numbers. If you play the same numbers. You can't keep, it's like when you do a slot machine, you want to see slot machines that have been used. You don't want a cold slot machine. You want slot machines that's been used. Yeah, he wore that all through his career, but I don't think he, you know what, PJ? I don't think he wore 19 at UFC, though. I don't think he wore that. Ravens, 49ers, 2012 Ravens played the 49ers in 12. King Kane, what? Let me see. Did I miss something? No, here we go. Super Bowl 55, 2020 equals 2002, defeated Raiders, then defeated Chiefs. Yeah, that was one of the most, the 2002 Bucks, that was Tony's team. That was my cousin Tony's team. And Gruden was traded from the Raiders to the Bucks. He wasn't fired for the Raiders. He was traded to the Bucks. And they don't change the offense. And then I've said this before. Jerry Rice tells the story how they were supposed to be a run-pass mixture. And then all of a sudden they was just heavy into passing. And you got Tim Brown and Jerry Rice, old Tim Brown, ain't running by anybody. And then remember the day before the Super Bowl, the center has a nervous breakdown. They find him, I think he went somewhere into Mexico. It was like that San Francisco 49ers Super Bowl when was his name Wilson? Wilson's in the team hotel. Stanley Wilson, I think, was his name. And they go in there and Stanley Wilson is cracked out. Somebody done took crack to Stanley Wilson. He'd been smoking crack before the Super Bowl. He don't show up for breakfast and taping. They go up in there and he's freaking out in the tub smoking crack. So it was somebody in there that knew what he was about. But they do all these little things before the game. So is Clyde Drexler underrated? Not really. I think they give the love to Clyde. I think Clyde would have been remembered. Clyde lost to Jordan in the finals, and he lost to Detroit. Vinnie Johnson, the microwave hit that short shot that beat him because everybody thought the Pistons was that Portland was going to win then. So Clyde had lost two, and then he got with Hakeem and was only able to win one. Because actually the year they had Barkley and Pippen, they had a pretty still stacked team then. So no, I think people give it to him. He's in the Hall of Fame. I think people give it to him. That Clyde was a good player. They under attack, ain't they? Everything. Yeah. Keyshawn Johnson wore number 1 at UFC. Yeah, I didn't think he wore 19. Tijuana. Yeah, I think he did, Slobo. I think he escaped to Tijuana. Yeah, he wore number 3. USC was like Alabama then. Well, yeah, like they were saying, they was trying to see if Reggie Bush could get his shit back. And it was up to the Heisman committee. Heisman committee denied him, not the NCAA, because they were saying, wait a minute. Now you saying they can do it? Can he get, can you give Reggie Bush his Heisman back? But Reggie Bush family could buy a Heisman. The Heisman's is for sale too. So Reggie Bush could have always got another one made. Yeah, maybe he had to turn the one they took a picture of, but you can get that stuff made. Or even think about it like this. Say if he asked for another one. Because, see, the colleges get one and you get one. So there's always two. Like they say they removed OJs years ago. They removed OJs. But there's always two. You have one and they have one. Hell, Western Michigan, for some reason, had a Heisman Trophy. No one from Western ever won the Heisman, but they had one in their showcase. I don't know why, but you can get them. You can get them. So what Reggie Bush probably did a year or so in, he's probably like, give me another one. So he'd only have to turn one in. Could be, but what was it? 66 Michigan State team with George Webster, Bubba Smith, George McClendon. He played running back, but I think he played DB too. But on the other hand, they had Alan Page on that 66 Notre Dame team. So I don't know. There's a lot of good college teams throughout the years. You look at some of them Bear Bryant's teams, they had a lot of them good old boys that could play football, can tackle. So I don't know. Could be. I wouldn't count them out. Watching Reggie Bush was like watching a game of Madden. I still say Reggie Bush was probably I don't know if he was even smaller than Gale Sayers, because Gale Sayers wasn't that big. So I don't even know if Reggie Bush was smaller than Gale Sayers. They might have been about the same height. Gale Sayers wasn't really a big dude, just fast. Still don't think anybody was good as cutting as Gale Sayers. I would say Reggie Bush was closer than Barry Sanders, because Reggie Bush ran mostly downhill. And I don't care what anybody says. Gale Sayers led the league in rushing with I think they went something like one game, and he led the league in rushing. So I don't want to hear that Barry Sanders play on bad teams. Gale Sayers led the league in rushing on the worst team, because the Bears won the NFL championship in 65. They was only a year or two out of the championship when they got Buckus and Gale, because they had 2 number 1 picks. I still say Gale Sayers would have had a better career if he'd went to the AFL and played for the Kansas City Chiefs. Think about it. Gale Sayers comes out in 65. Remember, Kansas City Chiefs was in the second Super Bowl too. Remember that? First was Raiders against Green Bay. The second year was Kansas City against Green Bay. Just think of Gale Sayers on that team. But Gale Sayers said he had to play the best. Well, he'd made more money going to Kansas City too. But he had got brainwashed. The NFL got one of their stooges. You can look up who Buddy Young is. Buddy Young was like 5'1", played in the NFL. Look up Buddy Young. My book up there got it. Buddy Young might have led the league in rushing in the early 50s. But they made sure Gale didn't go, and it would have been better for him to be in the AFL. Because, again, they in the Super Bowl in 67. They won it in 69. So then he'd had a better career. Wouldn't have got targeted for injury like they did in the NFL. They targeted him for injury. So, I'm sorry. Texas versus USA. Oh, now that's a different thing. You wanted to be like him? I can dig it. Yeah, Reggie Bush was cool. I agree. He was good. He was fun to watch. Tiger Star said, Texas versus USC, top game of all time. Close, yeah. I would say I love that game. My son was a little boy. My son was 11 or 12, and I let him stay up, and he loved them young. But yeah, it had to be one of the greatest games. That was a hell of a game, USC. I would say another one is Notre Dame USC, maybe the year before, when Reggie Bush what's his name, Matt Liner, when he pushed him in the end zone, and they beat him down there. That was a good game too. Yeah, that Natty was a classic for sure. Trap House. Lindale White was good too. Yeah, Lindale was a good back. He played in the league. Reggie Bush did that dumbass lateral at the wrong time. But remember when Reggie Bush, maybe that was the season they won it all, but they played Notre Dame, and Notre Dame was on their ass, and then they got down there, and Notre Dame had stopped them. And then Reggie Bush pushed Matt Liner in the end zone, which is a legal play. Because when I watched, I was like, that was a legal push. I was reffing there. And I'm like, you can't push them like that. They didn't call it, because you can't push a player forward. Now, you can hit somebody like you could act like you hitting somebody, and if that helps your man, but you can't just like Reggie Bush did. He just pushed him into the end zone. That's illegal. I even when I watched it, because again, I love Notre Dame. I grew up around Notre Dame. You know, where I was born, the little city Jack is like what you have is you have Jack, then you got Niles, and you got South Bend. South Bend and Niles are like little twin cities. They're border state cities. And where I was born, where my people from in that part of Michigan, where my grandparents, my father, where he grew up, that was right down there. Jack is right down there. Notre Dame's campus is roughly my aunt and my grandmother. Well, my aunt lives there now, but my grandmother used to live there with her. Roughly 20 minutes from my grandmother's old house, my aunt's house. So it's that close. So yeah, I've been watching a lot of Chicago. Yeah, Reggie did that dumbass lateral. Probably scripted. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do you think it was a G League game for the NFL? A G League for the NFL? Well, they tried it. They tried it in the NFL Europe, and I think everybody wanted it. I don't know what really happened over there because I just found out. I always talk about I had a friend that played over in Poland. I guess he's the high school coach in Battle Creek now for Battle Creek Central. That's what my son told me. Mario. So Mario was playing pro ball, like he was on the heels of NFL Europe, but a league kept going over there. So Mario was playing pro ball in Poland. He got a couple guys over to play with him. But yeah, it was good news that Mario is coaching high school football. So it was great news. But they tried it with NFL Europe. I don't know why, because they want a team in England. They want a team to play at Wembley Stadium. That's what NFL Europe was about. And there was a lot of, the German team, most of the teams did well. I don't know why NFL Europe failed. There hasn't been a 30 or 30. You don't hear people talk about why it failed. They take a team over there every year and make them play a couple games. So I don't know. So the XFL that they tried to bring back, now, the Canadian Football League is about to die because I think they're within 6 teams. I think Canadian has only 6 teams now, 6 or 8. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to mix Canadian football with the XFL or what was the other one called? The WFL. So they're trying to mix those leagues together to have a pool of players to keep going. Remember, if y'all probably don't follow it enough, but we had spring football. I don't know if y'all followed it enough. So there was a spring league that just played. Again, you have to really, I think, did NBC have those games? I'm not sure. But I caught about 6 games of this other spring league. So all their games was on TV. So there is kind of one. So they're trying to build that up. That's what these other leagues want to be. They want to be where guys can go back and forth. You get some film on the dude. And that's really what the NFL is about, to get you into camp, is you have enough film on you as a pro. So these other leagues would do that. Football would benefit. And, there's always been semi-pro football. That's never went away. There's when I was a little boy, my mentor, he played semi-pro in Michigan. So semi-pro football has never went away. It has never went away. It's just it's not advertised. It's not as advertised. It's not as big as what it once was. Semi-pro in the 70s was fairly big. The first league that really the AFL. But you have to realize that it was called the AA, All-American Football League. So the AAFL is where San Francisco comes from. The 49ers came from that. The Cleveland Browns came from another league. So in the 50s, you had a whole nother league. The Browns won 10 years in a row of that other league until they were joined into the NFL. That's why going into the 1960 league, you have the AFL that was very successful. Had a lot of money. A lot of them oil barons in Texas started some of them teams. So it was a lot of money. And so the AFL now, a lot of people ain't old enough to remember the AFL. So it's always been other leagues that the NFL has taken in. So that's nothing new. So, and there was a couple teams they wanted to expand. So what I miss? Did you watch the new movie Will Smith? Yeah, it hasn't come over my feed yet, so no, I haven't watched it yet. I saw that today, how he decided to take his little boys and make them good little girl tennis players. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Cause he ain't do nothing but same thing you see these guys doing with their little girls in basketball, their little boys in basketball. They see their boys ain't good enough to compete against other boys, so give them shots and make them little girls. USC's quarterback never really do much in the NFL, not since Carson Palmer, who they let get hurt on purpose. Saragona, remember he tore up Carson Palmer's leg. He hurt Carson Palmer. I'm trying to think. Gannon, remember they hurt Rich Gannon on purpose too. When Rich Gannon was the MVP, they hurt Rich Gannon too on purpose. OJ went there. USC is MK Monarch Hub. Yeah, OJ went there, no doubt. It's a bunch of people you can say went there. What's his name? Killed himself, went there too. The linebacker, remember? He went to USC, I'm pretty sure. Killed himself in Hawaii. That linebacker used to play with San Diego and the Patriots. Didn't he go to USC too? How is Detroit 8-win? Are they rebuilding? I heard the Cavs owner was buying land out there. Well, the problem with Detroit is I said this years ago. I was looking to invest with a group of dudes and build some, we was going to use it as some farmland. And it's funny about that because Dr. Valentine had said years before that people was going to try to use some of that old land and farmland. He had probably been up there. But the problem in Detroit is you buy the lots, they won't let you tear the water lines out. And they'll charge you a water. This is the thing, my daughter. This is the thing is you buying these lots with no houses on them. And even if you growing stuff, you getting a water charge. You're getting taxes on this water. So it's like, it's not a good deal for people because what's the point? It was like we was looking to take over blocks, tear up all them water lines, build barns, and, start having some crops, have some, build some greenhouses. So we really want to develop areas. And, it just didn't make sense. Yeah, the land was cheap, but the upkeep having to pay, you buying blocks, you paying for, up to 20, 30 services. And that's what we was running into. So now maybe it's changed since then, but that's what I ran into. It just didn't make a good development. Now, remember, there was a TV show was showing how, they was buying these, trying to flip these places. But one thing that you do see, well, two things, if you want to consider Detroit, is a lot of young money went in Detroit in 19 before this bullshit happened. A lot of young money went in Detroit, and they gentrified a lot of that land as well. The other beautiful thing is a lot of them historical mansions that the Fords and the Chryslers lived into, you can get that a good deal. I mean, at one time, those kind of places, if you wanted to live there, you could get a pretty good deal. Matter of fact, Jim Caldwell's house sold, and it was something like 20,000 square feet. No, I think it was more like 16,000 square feet, and they only wanted about $4 million for it. So Jerry Stackhouse house, he owned a house, and Jerry paid about 18 to 20, and that house had sold. I remember seeing that house relisted, and that house was, what is the river? Let me think. What is the river? Grosse Pointe. Yeah, one time Jerry Stackhouse paid this money, and this house had went down to hundreds of thousands. He paid millions at one point. Now, maybe Grosse Pointe picked back up, but I remember looking at his house and thinking, whoa, that house really dropped. So one time, yeah. But a lot of historical homes you can get in Detroit, which is kind of cool. And I like the energy of Detroit. I admit I hung out more in Chicago because of almost 20 years of working there every weekend, reffing ball. I liked hanging out in Chicago better, but cabarets, we always did cabarets in Detroit. And I don't know if y'all know what a cabaret is. You rent a building and you bring in a DJ, you bring in food, and you have kind of almost a private party that's not has any kind of regulation. And so people from the East Coast, DC, might know about cabarets, but we held cabarets in Detroit, made good money off it. I mean, it's like I've said before, like Chicago, Chicago, you went out to the club 11, 12. Detroit, you might not hit the club until 2. You might not hit the club until 2. So them clubs stay open until 6, 7 in the morning. Again, when we'd hold the cabarets, we didn't expect people to come in till 1, 2 in the morning. We would open up like 9, 10 because there's people want to come in. We'd have people that's cooking or bringing the prepared food. But so I like Detroit about that aspect. There was other parts I didn't really like, but that aspect, Mr. Adams was a place to always get gators. Back when I could still wear hard shoes, gators. Pimp dressing. Get them. They had those. I missed it. Chi-Town, stand up. There you go. Yeah. They throw women at those student athletes to drain their energy. Michigan State is an MK hub as well. Junior Seau, yeah, that's his name. He went to USC too. LSU is another one, Lobo. Gannon was clearly on purpose. Yeah, definitely clearly on purpose. Yeah. Yeah, Junior Seau. I think he went to USC too. Michigan State. Somebody had asked me, my son was asking me about, because I was in Lansing where my brother lived. Lansing and East Lansing ain't the same. East Lansing, Michigan State is the first, second, or third biggest college in the nation. It's like 20, 30,000. It is a monster campus. Like, if you've never been there, it's I don't know. Ohio State is Columbus. PJ, I'm sure he's been to Columbus, but Michigan State is an animal by itself. A lot of people don't like driving through there because they do a lot of traffic. So people are driving around. So I didn't even go over there when I was in Lansing with my brother. I didn't even go over there. And it was funny. Like, I went to Marshall's. They didn't have any Michigan State gears. They had a bunch of hats and shit, but they didn't really have I finally found a place where I was able to buy my daughter a Michigan shirt. And I felt bad. I should have got my son this Golden State. It was like a shooter's jacket. It was only like $20, but it was basically a shooter's jacket. And it just wasn't thinking, because I didn't see my size and it just didn't hit me. He's 18, but I should have bought it. I felt bad afterward. So I don't know. We just saw the thing the state went through. They let them weirdos work there. Natural Queen, thank you for joining me. Like, get out. The white looked up the athletes. Yeah, they do. Hey, Reese. Peace. Thank you for joining me. Say Chicago, stand up. Yeah. I mean, I like the vibe better. I have to say I felt safer in Chicago than Detroit. Because cabarets, I was able to be in control again. We giving the party. We got metal detectors. If not metal detectors, we got the wands and shit. Other than that, it's kind of iffy. Some of them clubs in Detroit was kind of iffy, if you wanted to be around where the people's was. But Chicago, I didn't get that vibe. I didn't get that vibe in Chicago. And I think it has something to do with the Pistons playing out in Auburn Hills too. A lot of people would go to Pontiac, because of the games instead of going into Detroit because the Pistons wasn't downtown. Maybe a little bit of that too. So, yeah, Tiger Strong, I have never heard that, but it could be. It could be. It wouldn't doubt. Michigan State was the first place where I knew that athletes got paid. That was the first place. As I said before, Magic's first agent was Charles Tucker. Charles Tucker was one of the guys that in let me get the years right, the late 60s, early 70s, they was getting on these universities for not having black professors. They was like, where's your black professors? And so Charles Tucker was one that was able to get a PhD because they took about 15 brothers. Another dude was too pig-headed to do it. It'd have helped his career if he would have, but he was too smart to do it. But he had his master's, and they took these dudes and they pushed these dudes all through. And these dudes got their PhD. Charles Tucker goes to Michigan State, and Ralph Simpson. I'm trying to think who else would have been down there then. Pete Gent would have been gone by then, But he had all these athletes where he was teaching the class for these athletes. And so he ended up getting, trouble. But Magic, by then, he had Magic. And so he ended up, being Magic's agent, and he ended up stealing from Magic in there. You think blacks are going to rule on society ever again on this earth? That's a good question, C.J. Jordan. But I've often talked about, if you looked at the Planet of the Apes movie, and one thing you learn at the end of the movie, when the bomb is exposed, Charleston Heston on his last thing is he blows up the Planet of the Apes. And remember, part two was where they went back in time right before the blast and whatever. But they would rather, the people in charge of this world would rather blow it up than let melanated people ever rule it again. Because it appears like for a long time it was just melanated people on the planet. It just appears like that. Like when they say fear of a black planet, that was them saying when they came in. But it appears like that. And it seems like all the time movement and everything is to stop all that. I mean, look at what they did with Obama. Obama had a Jewish faith person mama and an African, and everybody claiming him. But under the guise of African American, you was like Obama. But in reality, no, you wasn't. He ain't a brother. He ain't a brother. And then whatever you call Michelle, Michael, whatever you call that was, the agenda was pushed. So it wasn't a win. It wasn't a win for melanated people at all. I might as well cut it off. It ain't really helping much. A little bit. So the pendulum has to swing back the other way. So I don't know. I don't know if that'll ever become. What happens if five-star athletes play well in college but never join a fraternity? Does he get drafted? I never really saw that you had to join fraternities. Most them cats join fraternities afterward. Now, I don't know if Michael Jordan or even Shaq joined them when they was there. I don't know. I'm not sure about Michael. I don't know if they was Qs or they became Qs afterwards. I don't know. Yeah, the Motown Mafia. That's under a couple things, but yeah, a little bit. Because Nick was talking about the Purple Hat Club or the Purple Hat Gang. That was under a mafia gang. But then it was another. Trying to think of the other gangs in Detroit. There was a whole bunch of, but of course YBI. But the Flynn's, where them Flynn's at? The Hero Flynn's. That was another Detroit gang, but them is not old gang. Well, 70s, 80 gangs. But yeah, I know about the Motown Mafia. Yeah, you think we'll rule again? We'll see. We'll see. I mean, because you really just don't know where the European-like people come from. They just show up in history. It ain't like a long history. It's like they show up in one point. And as I say, when they show up, it comes to the point where you see the wizards. It's like when they show up, it's almost like the wizards got unmelted, because all of a sudden these people that are so backwards, again, the Black Plague, look at who it wiped out. I mean, you can go to Russia and you can see the old paintings and stuff. A lot of these masters' paintings, that's what the Renaissance was. The Renaissance was about whitewashing the paintings, whitewashing a lot of that stuff. And a lot of that stuff over there ain't old, is what they try to tell you, too. A lot of that artwork, and they make this artwork worth so much. That shit is made in the last probably 100 years. Because they was looking at some of them busts that was supposed to be from the Roman times, and they was seeing that shit wasn't worth. That shit was like 100 and some years old. So a lot of the fake history of Europeans was done in the 1800s. Because again, when they went into Kemet and they started looking at this shit, and this shit is ancient, they looking around like, where do we got this ancient? That's why they pushed the Greeks. That's why they love Kemet, because that makes them ancient. Kemet makes them ancient. That's why they love Kemet. That's why they point to Kemet with like, this is our stuff. That's why they point to Babylon, because they try to say that they come from all that. And maybe magic from that shit could be. Why do fraternities do that crazy hazing shit? Hazing is about to go away. But like, I know a lot of y'all don't remember the movie Animal House, but he's like, thank you, sir. Can I have another? It was clearly sodomy. Pained from behind. The paddling is clearly sodomy. It is clearly a representation of sodomy. And so a lot of gay shit going into that. Hey, Caden, thank you for joining. Joined the Boule right when he got in the NBA. Yeah. And that's funny about the Boule, because the Boule is about college. Here's a dude that didn't go to college. So that's an interesting thing about the Burleigh. So it's control, though. It's brainwashing and control. It's brainwashing and control because it teaches you how to go about, how to do business, to dominate people or be subservient. It teaches you both ways, how to dominate and be subservient. So that's the message that comes from that. Yeah, no, it's not as old, Reese. It's not. They getting busted all the time, showing that shit ain't old. That's why, that's why they try to say, what's the shit, the mud flood? When you hear that shit ain't nothing but Aryan bullshit to try to make them ancient. That's their newest way to say, see, we've been here. This shit look at America. It was all mudded over. When what they show you is how they was destroying mounds. That's what they showed. One picture was like, see how much they dug? They digging into them mounds. This was if America is one thing, it is the country of the mounds. Not just the mound builders. America is North America. North America is the country of the mounds. And the devastation of the mounds that are done in Wisconsin, we'll never know. We'll never know. Just like in St. Louis, that was the biggest pyramid complex in the world. And almost all of us destroyed. People living on that shit. So it had one of the biggest energy centers in the world. They chopped all that up, and it's regular people living on that energy. It's a weird chick that I know on Facebook. I ain't gonna get into her story, but she lives within 5 miles, and at one time, 5 miles, you'd still be in the pyramids. So America is the land of the burial mounds, not just certain spots, all of America. So I just landed from Costa Rica. Just has me thinking on a lot history-wise. So you went to Costa Rica. Did you pick up some of that blue amber you got from Costa Rica? They got blue amber down there. my best friend was down there. He's like, I couldn't find any blue amber. Haze and humiliation ritual. Yeah, definitely, Lobo. That shit definitely don't sit right with me. People in St. Louis have to feel that energy. Well, they put that lock on it. That tower they put over, that's a lock. They put the rainbow-like thing over, that's a lock. It tries to say bringing the east and west together. No, that's a lock for them pyramids. That's why they put what is it called? The St. Louis Arch. Yeah. Arch is Roman, right? Roman Greek. Why do you think they put an arch there? They put arch there for a reason. You better blow that shit out. Yeah, I keep hearing about St. Louis, very close to me. It is really here. It is hilly there. Yeah, Chatoa. Is that what they call it? Chatoa. They don't even let a lot of people go into looking inside that, evacuating it, looking in there. And then we've got the Serpent Mounds, I think, the Serpent Mounds in Ohio. So what you have to realize what the country really is and the energy centers in the country. So they try to guard this and they act like only the energy's for them. And that's the thing. And see, like my brother and I get to researching this stuff. It's like, again, we had mirrors where we communicated with each other. We had skulls where we communicated with each other. Europeans take this stuff and it take them a couple hundred years before they learn to use this stuff. And now it's all in their mythology. Mirror, mirror on the wall. They did not do mirror or skull work. That shit, they found that shit in Americas. What is Indiana Jones, remember? One of them's chasing after the crystal skulls. And again, my early teaching of a time crystal was putting all the skulls together, and that created a time crystal. That was my earliest learning about what a time crystal was like, and that's why I showed it with John Wick. I'm like, wait a minute, they trying to show you the Catholic Church got all them skulls. I was like, oh shit, look at this. That's why I showed them fighting in the skulls. But you see how they destroyed all that? You see the point of there? They're trying to tell you not that they destroyed it, but they control it. But they destroyed it for us. That's the other part of it. It was we destroyed it so y'all can't have that power. So the things like cell phones and shit wasn't needed. Again, one of Montezuma's dudes saw them. He had a foresight. 10 years before they came, he had a foresight. Plus, he was probably telling Montezuma's like, you pissing these people off. They ain't gonna fight for you. Keep pissing them off. And that's what they did. But see, this is the thing. You don't want to have, okay, so you have an enemy. But what's greater, the survival of your people? Survival of your people, of your kind, or it doesn't matter. You just that's just the enemy, no doubt. That's what they didn't understand. You was helping somebody to wipe you out. Again, this book my brother gave me said that he had 200,000. He only had 500 people. Cortez. And that's why we got a girl, they keeping that name alive. Cortez is also a spot. It's a certain, like the middle of the square in downtown. I think that's called a Cortez. Or it's a cul-de-sac. I think Cortez is another name. The cul-de-sac is another name for a Cortez. Don't quite remember, but it's something like that. Yeah, CJ Jordan is history. Arches are portals, or can be, I think. Well, messing with their kind of stuff. I ain't gonna say that's totally their magic, because I don't have a book here, or do I have one of them? Let's see. Maybe I do. Maybe I can show this. Let me see if just while I can talk, if I can flip and find a picture of this thing. Because it's not totally a European thing. But I think it's a picture of what I'm looking for in here. And let's see. Because it's about the same as an arch. But of course they tore it off the cave. Because it was like it looked like actually the werewolf kind of changing, morphing. And they tore it off the cave wall. So it was also at one point some kind of portal. I thought it was in this book. Let's see. Thought there was a diagram of it though. Maybe not. Maybe not. But it's a very similar arch. And you see how all these countries had to give back, like I can't think of the name of the company, but they found some Anunnaki stuff, the Gilgamesh, the story of Gilgamesh. They found a copy that Hobby Lobby, I think they said, the owner of Hobby Lobby had a copy of the Gilgamesh Sumerian scroll. He had to give it back. He had a bunch of other stuff, but a lot of they forcing these countries to get his stuff back, which is a good thing. Because we come from one thing. Europeans, they're the biggest grave robbers in history. Okay, this is a picture of it. I have the picture of the real thing. So I guess this really ain't an arch. I was gonna say, was this an arch? So I guess it really isn't. But this is once the opening to the cave. But it would serve the same purpose. It would serve the same purpose as an arch, as far as a porthole. But this is all rock, and this is tore down, and they have this in the museum. They tore it off the cave. So yeah, the one time this was a portal as well. So, and the arch is just a half circle. So this is called an Olmec representation of a cave. It says they just drew a picture of this, and it says Olmec representation of a cave, middle formative years, probably Chachalazingo Morales. This relief possesses a a quatrefoil mouth, which means the going into the jaguar, may have served an interest to an actual cave in its original context. They got this. I got pictures of this. I got maybe not a color, but I've got pictures of this. So I knew it was in there. So same kind of thing, So they probably, but that's the thing is they come and they steal magic and they learn how to use the magic and then they use it against the people. That's probably the sad thing is they use it against the people. Remember, I'm still learning symbolism. Organic portholes. Is 13 are good or organic portholes? That appeared like they carved out in front of the cave. They carved it out and then they used it as a type of porthole. So I think that's still organic because the original stone was there. These peoples them peoples is talking about the one religious folks, but just them peoples, not those people, but them peoples. They tear up anything. They try to take anything. They see any kind of energy with it. So yeah, they're caves, but caves in themselves. One of my civilization building, early civilization was being born out of a cave. I mean, really physically being born out of the cave. And I've went over that before. And so coming out of the cave was also basically an organic type of porthole. I tell two stories. Well, no, I tell the same story. I'm born out of a cave, and then we have to find this other cave, and then we come out of the other cave, and then there's civilization. So is 13 a good or a bad number? Well, it is their counting. The American way of counting is in fives. Okay. Knew that was going to happen. So really just in the European way of counting, but see if I see it. Here's 13, but this is how in America it would be written. In South America, the Mayan and the Oman, that's 13. So you got 5, the slashes is 5. So you'd have 5, 10, 11, 12, 13. So in this reference, no. But 13 comes back from when they killed the Templars. When they killed the Templars, when the French king who owed them Templars all that money and the way he got away from paying was killing them. And they burned what's his name, rocks in front of Notre Dame. They burned his ass. If you watch the Templar series, they show that shit where they burned his ass. Of course, it's very dramatic, but so that's why they called 13 unlucky, is because when they rounded up all them Templars and really put them out of Europe when they came, well, a few years later they came to America, but Templars was the money changers. And we know who the money changers is. A lot of people say that the peoples tried to become like the Templars. Well, the Templars was part of them. That's why it's always been a fake about who was the Jesus believers. That's always been a fake. They only use that shit for power. When they found out that's where the power was, that's what religion they was. That's the thing that I said about Zach. Zach admitted that the Jesuits had them peoples in it too. So it wasn't just Christians, it was them peoples. So they never conversos. That's all. Conversos. When Isabella went after they ass, they started saying, "Hey, no, we don't believe in that anymore. We're not son of David's anymore. We with that Jesus dude. That Jesus dude kicked the shit out of us with Isabella. That bitch is a bitch. So we joining sides because that Inquisition shit was against them." That's why when I was a child, you heard that shit all the time about Inquisition. You don't hear very much about it in these newer generations, do you? They don't like that shit getting out. That wasn't against the Moors. She went to war against the Moors just to get them to leave the lands. she went after them specifically to rid them out of her lands. Because the Moors was in, I want to say, they were on a coastal city on the other side of the country, the other side of Spain, going into the island where Gibraltar and all that, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong, going into that ocean. So she had to fight through mountains and stuff until she got to fight the Moors. She was letting the Moors either doing the same thing. You can join us. But most of the Moors live near the bigger cities. And so she fought towards them. She was in a war with the Moors, but she went an Inquisition after them peoples. That's who the Inquisition was about. It was about them. When they was talking about putting them on the rack, look up Inquisition shit, them torture chambers. That's who they was torturing. Christians wasn't playing no more. That's why Columbus and them needed somewhere else to go. And that's why the first money for Columbus' voyage comes from conversos. Comes from them peoples. Look it up. Don't come from Isabella. It comes from two other dudes. It doesn't come from Isabella. She was in a war. What the fuck? She sending him somewhere. The war was over by then. But no, she reaped some of the benefits. But yeah. Also rebirth and regeneration. Yeah, I got 13 letters in my name and I feel cursed. No, you shouldn't. 13, you can bring it down to 4. Yeah, it could be. 13 represents transformation. Yeah. So it's like, that's the thing. It's like those kind of things, I can't think, they ain't really good or bad. It's not really good or bad. It's how it's applied. It's how it's applied. It's that's what makes it good is bad, or it's how it's applied. Because a lot of things come down the pipe, it ain't a good or bad kind of thing. It really ain't. You can't really look at it one or the other. It's kind of just this there. So, and that's kind of how you got to look at spirituality. It's like people was talking about the Goetians and stuff. That ain't like, what did Bobby Hewitt say? What did Bobby Hemmett say? Got you scared of your own shit. That's what a lot of it is. Got us scared of our own shit. Yeah. Now, I'm not a big Baphomet dude, yay or nay. I'm not really, I wouldn't have that shit up in my house. But you study it, and whatever you get out of it, you get out of it. I'm not yay or nay about it. I know that it's Marduk sitting there. Or Yaldabaoth. It's that representation also. So that can't be denied. So it's that energy there. And the thing I get into is people trying to say that ain't that. That is that. That's both them characters sitting there too. So that's up to you to say if that's good or bad. Not up to me. I don't work with that. But I'm not going to dissuade anybody. I just see, this is the thing that a lot of motherfuckers do. And I even say, Zach, tell all the story. Don't tell the story to make you look good. Tell the whole story. Tell all the story. So a person can really look at every side. And that's how you got to be about everything. You know how the Matrix, they did the NFL camera that's now in the middle of the field. It was the first time it was shot where you could get a different view of the scene. Remember how they did when what was her name? Trinity was kicking ass. And it was the first time when she was kicking ass going this way, where it turned around and all of a sudden she's like seen from this way kicking ass. That's really how you got to look at most things. You got to look at all the sides before you get emotional about it. See, that's the Black Lives Matter and shit is shit to just get people emotional. It's like a dude said he was in the Black History Museum. He was on Craig Facts. He said he was in the Black History Museum and he would see some Europeans and want to fuck him up. Because there's an emotional thing about that Black history, the blacks. It's an emotional thing about that. But what maturity and what a true awareness is you can see this shit and you don't have no emotional attachment to it. You can see all sides of the shit. And that's the thing I try to push. Talk about all. Don't just say one side of it. Talk about all of it. And a lot of these people don't want to talk about all of it. They want to say the part they like. They talk about the parts they like. Well, I like this part of it, so look at this part. Then you bring up the other shit, and they're like, well, that don't count. Don't pay attention. Like in the Wizard of Oz, Toto busted motherfuckers, and he's like, hey, don't even look at that motherfucker. Listen to me screaming through these speakers. Don't worry about that motherfucker there. He ain't, and motherfuckers be like that. We like, well, we see him moving around, the dog's fucking around. Dog, quit fucking around. We don't care. That's how people mentality be. That's why they showed that scene. People really will turn themselves off to what is obvious. There's a little motherfucker in front of some screens and a microphone. But it's people that are turned away from that. I don't try to be like that. I don't try to say shit that just show one side of the story. And as I said before, you don't hear me demeaning Zach. You don't hear me demeaning Sly, Truth Teller, Nick. I don't be demeaning nobody. I don't agree with these motherfuckers all the time, and that's all right. We grown men. We ain't gonna always agree about things, but that don't make us hate each other. That ain't gonna make me just sit there and do a campaign. Motherfuckers making videos about me. Well, in 1962, he fucked that seal, and we got some shit. That was you fucking that seal. And we see Brother Kwame doing that shit. He's just a hitman. He's just a hitman. How many, as I've mentioned before, we went through a whole thing of them knocking out the motherfucking Kemetic organization in New York. And the dudes who took it over did the same thing they was doing. The same scamming that you said they was doing. You got a whole new group that moved in there and doing the same thing. So do you see the trick of this shit? You see the trick of this shit? So they didn't want to knock them down because of the information. Yes, their information was wrong, but they wanted their spots. They wanted them positions. That's what they was trying to knock down, is they wanted their position so they could get this bread. As I said before, there's a chief in Ohio. He go by my family name, Heathcock. That's my family name. That's what my fifth great grandmother's name. Matter of fact, I'm the fifth. I'm 5 people from her. I'm 5 generations from her. So I'm a Heathcock as well. But we got an old dude, and me and my brother talked. He told me, he's like, yeah, my mother said I'm related to them too. I'm not just related to them. Them one of my grandmothers. So I'm not just a relative. I'm a direct descendant of one of these people. But we had a chief in Ohio, and as I said to my brother, we probably missed it with that, because we didn't really look at what it was. And some other young dudes that was really some of these Israelites, they was really Israelites, and they went in there and they saw that they could take advantage of people. And my brother and I wasn't cold like that. We saw it as something to upbuild our family. But other dudes was looking at ways they was upbuilding and enriching themselves. And so I applaud my brother, I applaud myself, because we didn't look to take advantage of people. We got some groups in there that went and took advantage of them old people. But what you have to look at is old people that's like, what am I going to do? Who am I going to hand this ball off to? I got to hand this ball off to somebody. I got all this work here. Who do I give it to? And you get older, a lot of people like, I can't handle the ball anymore. So anybody that comes, they get a ball to. And so, I don't knock, I could say I don't agree with people. I don't agree with people, but it don't make me hate them. I'll call Sly up now, like, what you think about this? Or he'll call me like, what you think about that? But you ain't never said, well, I just sit there and just disrespect and talk shit about the motherfucker, because I don't have that much to say about people. It's like funny when people disagree with shit. Motherfuckers like got a ton of shit to say about people. I couldn't tell you 10 things about Sly. Motherfuckers like, tell me 10 bad things about this motherfucker. I couldn't tell you. Like, motherfucker got a bunch of girls. Well, when you that age, you're supposed to. That's about all I can say. You want me to say something about Nick? This motherfucker got a bunch of trucks. That's all about I could say about Brother Nick. As I said last night, I saw a shirt yesterday. I was thinking about getting Nick, but it was a big extra large. So it was a big extra large. It would have fit me just a couple times. It definitely wouldn't have fit him. I mean, it would have. I could wear it, but not my. But again, the tie-dye shit with Blondie, I thought Nick would have liked it. But again, if I would have got it in 2X, I would have sent it to Nick because I knew he probably would have appreciated it. What's Yaldabaoth? So if you can just get this out of the library or go to Barnes and Noble. So like when you read Gnosticism, which is pre-Christianity, what happened was a lot of when they talk about creation into these Gnostic texts, they talk about, see, what they changed was when you get into the Father, the Son, what's called the Holy Ghost was really the divine feminine. Again, this whole world, the first religion was basically moving. The planet had a female aspect to it. And so before the Christian era, the divine feminine was the thing that was worshipped among people. And it wasn't the divine male or the patriarch. It was actually the divine feminine. So when you get a lot of creation stories, pre-Christian, they talk about Sophia. I mean, Sophia basically turns into Mary, Lilith probably first, because Lilith is the one that knew, the Rumpelstiltskin. If you know the God's name, you can go be with the God. Lilith is probably that. But to get back to the point, so what you have is you have the divine feminine is called Sophia. So if you look up Sophia, you see that Sophia is one of the first creators of things, is the first, even before Hathor, you come into Sophia. And so I told this story the other night. So what Sophia does is Sophia goes and recreates from herself. But when she recreates it, she hides it from all the other gods. And so she puts this thing in a space by himself. And so when he's by himself, he can see life going on under him. So as he's looking at things under him, he knows he's greater than that because he doesn't see them manifesting. He's in this space where he can manifest anything. Well, these gods that work with Sophia, they looking like something's different. The energy's off. What have you done? So this is why you have Sophia put down. This is why Christianity takes away Sophia and calls it again. They call it the Holy Ghost. They call that divine energy the Holy Ghost. But really the energy is Sophia. So Sophia creates Yaldabaoth. Yaldabaoth is basically the same character as Marduk, basically. But Yaldabaoth comes into the world where he knows no God but himself. He is a jealous God. He doesn't accept you worshiping any God but him. And let me see. Try to find where let me see if this gives 156. Try to see if they get into his story a little bit. Oh, right here. Sophia is the wisdom of afterthought, who constitutes an eternal realm, conceived a thought from herself with the conception of the visible spirit and foreknowledge. She wanted to bring something forth like herself without the consent of the spirit, the other gods, who had not given approval without her partner and without his consideration. The male did not give approval. She did not find her partner. She considered this without the spirit consent and without the knowledge of her partner. Nonetheless, she gave birth, and because of the invisible power within her, her thought was not an idle thought. Something came out of her that was imperfect and different in appearance from her, for she had produced it without her partner. It did not resemble its mother. It was misshapen. When Sophia saw what her desire had produced, it changed into the figure of a snake with the face of a lion, with the eyes like flashing bolts of lightning. She cast it away from her outside that realm so that none of the mortals would see it. She had produced it ignorantly. She surrounded it with a bright cloud and put it on the throne in the middle of the cloud so that no one could see it except the Holy Spirit. And the mother called the living, she named the offspring Yaldabaoth. Yaldabaoth's world order. Yaldabaoth is the first ruler who took power from his mother. When he left her and moved away from the place where he was born, he took control and created for himself other realms and luminous fire which still exist. He made it with the mindfulness in him and produced authorities for himself, clones. The first is Astaroth, which generates called the Reaper. The third is called Kali Ambri. The fourth is Yabah. The fifth is Adonis, which is another name, who is called Sabbath. The sixth is Cain, who generations of people called the Sun, Abel, Aspirine. Yabatha stationed 7 kings, one for each sphere of heaven, to reign, that's gatekeeping, to reign over the heavens, and five to reign over the depth of the abyss. He shared his fire with them. He did not give away any of the power of the light that he had taken from his mother, for he is ignorant darkness. When light mixed with darkness, it made darkness shine. When darkness mixed with light, it dimmed the light and became neither light nor darkness, but rather gloom. The gloomy ruler had 3 names. The first name is Yabatha. The second name is Salaka. The third is Samuel. Samuel's another name for somebody else too. He is wicked in his mindfulness. That is him. He said, I am God, and there is no other God but me. Since he did not know his own strength had come from, he did not know where it came from. The rulers created 7 powers for themselves, and the powers created 6 angels apiece until there were 365 angels. And so this gives a all the angels and demons worked together until they fashioned the physical body. But for a long time, their creation did not stir or move at all. When the mother wanted to take back the power she had relinquished to her first ruler, she prayed the most merciful Father of all with a sacred command. The mother and father sent 5 luminous down to the place of angels of the first ruler. They advised him that they may recover the mother's power. They said to Yabatha, breathe some of your spirit into the face of Adam, and the body would arise. He breathed his spirit into Adam. The spirit is the power of the mother, but he did not realize this. But because he lives in ignorance, the mother's power went out of Yaldabaoth into the physical body. So you can look it up, and it's spelled Yaldabaoth. So I've been going. So I hope that helped. I hope that helped. So I hope that helped, that if you hadn't heard. But Hebrew Israelites say Jews are bad, want us to be Jews. Hey, Tiger Strong. High vibes to you, for sure. High vibes to you. You'll be all right. Dobie, what's happening? Sophia's name, wisdom, and book of Proverbs in the Holy Bible. Sophia is the name of the Greeks gave to the mystery school of Kemet and Nebia. Yeah, younger than this stuff. Because a lot of this stuff is they don't even know where it came from. A lot of these are second and third, but this is a lot of the Gnosticism could be considered pre-Christian too. Again, the Gospel of the Doubting Thomas, right? Yeah, the Gospel of Thomas ain't in the Bible, and it's the oldest Christian, pre-Christian work, and yet they left it out of the Bible. So that's why this stuff, why they left a lot of it out of the Bible. Oh, okay, yeah, Trap. So yeah, that's what it. That's kind of. I've got a couple Gnostic Bibles. One has the story of the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. Neither one has the Gospel of Judas. And the Gospel of Judas is a beautiful write. It really is. I mean, it breaks down where Jesus is like, leave him alone. he did. I mean, he followed Jesus's way. I mean, it's really very well written, where Jesus be like, "Don't say shit to him. He is doing my work." Because like when they supposedly sneaks off to go make the deal, and Jesus is like, they're like, he can't leave. The other ones is like, he can't leave. Jesus is like, leave him the fuck alone. You go do what we talked about. You go do that shit. I'll be all right. I mean, it's very well written, but they show him as he did God's will. So it was nothing to put him down for. You know, they try to say that Judas was the first vampire. I don't know if anybody ever, you caught that in these movies. One of the movies, he hung himself. They try to say he was one of the first vampires. But it's like the Gospel of Judas looks at him as a hero because he did God's work. Now, again, Jesus being God and all that. But the point is, it's the first thing that really bucks at that system, saying, wait a minute, we ain't blaming, because Christianity has a lot to do with blame. Like, no, you're not blaming him. Just like with reading the Gospel of Mary, she's like, well, what did he say to you? And she tell him, y'all couldn't take it, what I would tell you. Y'all wouldn't even know how to take this shit if I told you about it. So. I don't think I switched cards. I didn't. And that's way over there. So we should be at 13 cartoons, 0 cartoons, 8 tunes. We're at 13 we'll be day 3. I don't have the card. It's way over there. I forgot to share the card. But I would definitely do the Mayan. And the Mayan card is Akbal. And Akbal is house and closing of darkness, night, body, place of mystery, heart, and internal organs. I think a copy of the picture would be in here. Yeah, it would also be called house. Oh, right there is what the card would look like. House. In the image, we see a girl who went to Kali, the sacred house, to pray or meditate. We know what she is doing because in front of her, there's a sign of the moon, which represents the mind. The symbols on top represent the water, fluctuation, arrow, temptation, and the heart, passion, and feeling. With this simple symbolic system, the Toltec painter shows us the full meaning of Kali as the place for introspection and reflection of what the issues of life. Having emphasized the spiritual character of the word Kali, now we may consider its general meaning as house, which is the container of family, of the living hearts of people, who also the container of the sleeping time and the precious dreaming time so important for the Toltec people. Kali represents your home, your family life, your personal, intimate world as opposed to your external world and social environment. The house is a simple temple where you keep what is most sacred for you and what is the source of renewal for your energy and strength. It was like I'm reading that, making a hand sign like, believe that shit. That's why I started laughing. I caught myself doing that shit. I started laughing. When you get this card, you will be looking at your whole life and at your whole persona as it affected by what you are experiencing there. You will be examining your close family relationships, which will include not only those who live with you under the same roof, but also those relatives who may not live in the same house, but whom you keep a close connection. You'll also be looking at the role of the spirit in your home. Occasionally, you may relate Kali to your dreaming world, especially if at a time you are consulting the Toltec Oracle, you are having repetitive dreams that leave you with a strong feeling that the meaning is very important for your life. In such times, you may do the reading by associating the card and its placement on the board with the dream that is coming to you. So, if that helps anybody tomorrow, am I living in a way that supports my life force at home? Am I having enough quality time with my family? Am I close with the people I love? What is keeping me away from my own people? What kind of thoughts am I repeating to myself to feed that separation? So, sorry I didn't bring the picture, but it is house. So the energy, I said again, west. Yeah, that's east. West tomorrow. Yeah, because I did my prayers today in the north. And that, I'll tell you, since I pray in the directions, things have amplified. Things have really, oh my goodness, and I didn't write this stuff down. I had so much foresight today. Trying to think all the visions. I had so many visions today. Like the other night I was talking about, and this is kind of how stuff builds for you sometimes too, is I was talking about I saw a skeleton sitting up, like it was a body, but his head was a skeleton, where today I saw the whole dude. And I was, wow, what was it? I can't remember them all. It was, one was I saw some stairs. I was like, wow. I'm just like sitting there and I'm looking at a wall, like, wow, like maybe a garage stairway, where they had a concrete stairs where to get off the parking ramps, looked like something like that. And then I had one more I couldn't remember at this time, but it was like the foresight is really growing. Shay Legit, I'm sure has it, because it really blows everything open. Like I'll say She Legit is something for you if you are getting to a point where you just can't get past here, where you just like, when you go into your awareness is kind of locked up, it blows all that open. And I had like 3 visions today. I wish I could remember to come back to me. The third vision was the most important, but the other vision is that sometimes, how do I want to say this? So sometimes some visions sometimes come and it just plays out, and that's all you'll get. But like I was saying, last week I had the vision of just seeing this body with a skeleton head. This week, possibly the full vision came because it showed me this being sitting down. And so if you ever able to have that type of foresight, remember sometimes to think, because sometimes you can see that the scene is now fully evolved. So remember that too. Is like, the scene ain't fully, came in. So remember that too. And then sometimes it'll give it to you. And a vision is not a dream. A vision is like TV show you. You will be standing there. Like when I'm telling you this dude is sitting there, I am standing in front of this dude. I'm looking at it. Doesn't appear to be able to look at me, see me back, but I am sitting there looking at him. And so that's the difference. You are actually there looking at something. So it's not a dream. Where a dream, you are like watching it come, not really interacting. A vision, you are in it. So for those of you that want to practice. The silver given to Judas is the reason why vamps don't like element. Wasn't that Dracula told to drop that? Something like that, Marco. Yep. Doing on women won't work together in this place. Dang on women can't work together. So it's just Sophie is called the divine Sophie. It's several. I mean, it's a lot in this book, but it's a lot of decent stuff. I mean, this book really, I would say this book kind of, trying to see if I've always, the thing that I found in this book, what made me interested in it. And I don't know, maybe I didn't save the place. Usually I do. Like the Trustees of Shem. Shem is another one. Oh, this is the one, the origin of the world. Since everyone, the gods of the world and people say that nothing exists prior to chaos, I shall demonstrate that all are mistaken, since they do not know how the origin of chaos and its root. And here's the demonstration. How is it agreeable to all people to say that chaos is darkness? But actually, chaos comes from a shadow that has been called darkness. The shadow comes from something existing from the beginning. So it is obvious that something in the beginning existed before chaos came into being. And that chaos came after what was in the beginning. So it's really speaking against the Big Bang, telling you, and even now they admit this. This is written a long time ago, and this is telling you, because that's what the Big Bang is. Their new name for chaos is the Big Bang, and they want you to believe it. But now they're saying, well, you know what? I know back in 1980 when you had Carl Sagan, he said the Big Bang was the beginning, and that's the Big Bang came from the Catholic Church. Keep that in mind. If you guys didn't know that, the Big Bang comes from them. It's called intelligent creation. That's their good God. God is a German king. And so what it's saying now, they're saying, well, something did happen a little bit before. The universe kind of breathed in and breathed out, and then there was the Big Bang. And then we come from that, but not from what came before. That's how they when they get caught in they bullshit. And I'm the one that invented matter doesn't matter. It's like it ain't no gravity, ain't no goddamn matter, definitely ain't no dark matter. That is just their way of trying to have a hold on the beyond, trying to explain some shit. That is why all this math they write. Well, you see, no, that's math. Like I was reading some shit the other day, and it's a math equation. That's why Einstein came to a certain point. Quirk. He just came up with some shit. They was like, "What the fuck is this, Einstein?" That's a quirk. Well, what the fuck is a quirk? Well, when you can't explain some shit, you just call it some shit. Well, damn, that is deep. They had to be smoking some good shit or something. And they looked at him and was like, "Man, that quirk shit is bad." This is the shit they do to explain. I'm in the union office tonight. Oh, you pimping tonight. Order out of chaos. Sounds familiar. Knee-haze. What's happening? Yeah, order out of chaos. That's right. So that's why, look up the Big Bang and they tell you, well, it wasn't the first thing. I mean, they changing because they get caught. It's like religions get caught in lies. And then they change it up every so many years. I mean, that's the difference between Gnosticism and what the Catholics and Christians preach. They preach that he was a real person. The Gnostics, they show you that in not Dungeons and Dragons, Dan Brown's first book. Remember when they showed the Gnostics and the Christians going at it, going to war with each other? And then they bring in the Caesar in. They bring the Caesar in, and then he goes into I'm drawing a blank. But they bring in, is it Charlemagne or Constantine? They bring in Constantine, and Constantine sides with the God man. Constantine saw the power of switching over. Constantine lied and said he saw the cross in the sky. That's why he won a war. They say Constantine's mother went to Jerusalem and found the real cross that they hammered him on, and she brought some back. I saw a church showing that shit the other day where this is a piece of a nail and shit. They said they had a nail. Well, that's all related to Constantine's mother so-called finding it. I think that pit where they got under the church, I think she found that shit too. So you see, a lot of this shit is made up for their God man. So, and you can believe what you want, I'm not really making fun, but a lot of it seems made up. So, well, 2.5 hours, probably. I do got a bunch of shit I gotta get done. I just be bullshitting, and I gotta get some shit done tomorrow. Definitely, I got a lot of shit I gotta go do right now. So, I'm gonna end it, and I'm gonna end it as I always do with Mora. If I can find the shit, because this ain't it. This is the unused one. I guess I'm not gonna say Mora. I don't remember it by heart. So Mora, though. It all starts with a gentle sadness. They came from their original homelands, but they knew that they would disappear of the faith of the earth as a cultural and a lifestyle. But they believed in the Creator's day, and they knew how to separate cycles and the great serpent. I left out a little bit. I am another yourself. I will talk shit about Sly, though. I'm going to talk shit about Sly. Sly used to get on me for having these. Yeah, you got these too, buddy. You take notes too, buddy. He's like, yeah, you be having your tablets. You had them tablets too. No, I'm just bullshitting. So, thank you, everybody. Friday night. If I can get everything done early, I'll be on tomorrow night. If I can get everything done early, hopefully I can get everything done. If not, I'm going to have to work and get this shit done. So I got some shit to look up. I got to go through my junk and look this shit up and put this together. So thank you, guys. This has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I'm your super funky hero, your super host, the Killer Bobby Johnson. I bet y'all don't remember what movie that's from, Killer Bobby Johnson. That's Killer Bobby Johnson. I bet y'all don't remember that. I bet y'all don't remember where Killer Bobby Johnson come from. That's Killer. The little boy looks at him and says, "That's Killer Bobby Johnson." I bet y'all don't know that. I bet y'all don't know where Killer Bobby Johnson come from. Till we meet again, y'all.